Hello and welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Liam Xavier and you join us here at EBAday 2026 in Copenhagen. With me right now is Edward Ireland, the Product Director at Bottomline. Lovely to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, there's a lot going on at the moment, and looking towards November, we've got the structured fields deadline.
Yeah.
What are some of the complications when it comes to actually getting those right data sources for these address fields?
Yeah, well, it's a challenge for all of our customers at the moment. I think for our customers, what it probably feels like is that this is another of the requirements. So it's like the ongoing ISO 20022 story. You know, everybody worked very hard last year to get ready for November. They were ready with their payment instructions for last November, but that's just the beginning of the journey. So this is like a continuation of that journey. And so what the market's trying to do is layer on the additional requirements and benefits of ISO 20022. And structured address is the first one of those benefits that you can get now in ISO 20022 that you couldn't get with the legacy standards. So when we talk about the challenges, what are the challenges? Well, I think that organizations didn't have to have that level of attention to what they stored as that information in the past. They didn't have to have that structure in place. They have to have that structure now. So they have to have it within the databases that they have existing, and then they need to work at ways of capturing that information in a structured way from the beginning. So there's quite a lot of work for banks to do, not just within their databases, but also within the different channels that they have for their customers.
And you mentioned there is a lot to do. So
yeah.
If people are sort of working out their priorities, how important is this element to the future of ISO?
Well, so it's absolute, because it's network validation if they're using Swift. It's really critical. They've got to be ready. You know, this is there's a tremendous amount of progress that's been made, but there's still quite a long way to go, and this will be an absolute priority for November. I think some of the biggest challenges we've seen is actually not necessarily with the banks themselves, but with their customers, and perhaps not believing that November is going to be November, and having to explain to them that it really will be, and they've got to be ready.
Speaking to the practicalities more than anything, is it more of an issue of sort of bad data or bad onboarding, would you say, when it comes to actually getting that capture?
I think the structure just wasn't there in a lot of systems, and the onboarding process didn't have that attention to detail at the time. It wasn't needed, to be fair to most organisations, and so it's a change. It's the modern world. It's the new world of ISO 20022 and structured, standardised business elements within messages.
And looking towards next year, then, what do you make of the changes to exceptions and investigating, and what will banks do?
So exception investigations, that's an interesting one. So that's a very clear and obvious benefit of ISO that will come, and it's a combination of ISO 20022, but also an industry initiative around exceptions and investigations. And so, especially for organisations on Swift, there's going to be a more streamlined process. It's more efficient. There's a central database. You can now access that database, and you can do your exceptions and investigations through that. So it's a fairly gentle introduction. For this November, there's a couple of small requirements. You can start accessing the case manager on Swift, and then what we'll see is a ramping up through next year, and people using more and more this standardized process. And this is tackling another one of those areas of manual processing that still exists within financial institutions.
If I put you on the spot ever so quickly, are you optimistic?
For this November or next year?
For both.
Oh, okay. So yes, I am optimistic for this year. I mean, I think there will be challenges, but there's also innovation in this space as well, and so institutions are looking at how they solve that problem and how they do intelligent structuring of data. So I am optimistic there. And then I think that what we're going to be seeing as we go into next year is more and more of the benefits of ISO 20022. So the position that we're in at the moment, and we saw this in a survey that was done this morning in one of the sessions, is that a lot of institutions don't necessarily feel the benefit of ISO yet. They've put it in place, they've done the work, it's there, the platform's there, and so the next year and 2 years is going to be about getting benefit from it. So layering on value adds and benefits like exceptions and investigations.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing your insights and coming into the studio.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.